This is Butterfish Tank, and before we go further on with this video, I just wanted to talk to you guys about a really exciting thing that is going to happen the 21st October. I'm going to go to some practical working sort of thingy, and I'm going to work at the North Sea Oceanarium here in Denmark, which is Northern Europe's biggest aquarium. I'm going to work there for 1 week, which is just amazing. I can't believe that they actually accept my application sort of thingy, and I'm so happy and it's awesome. But excuse me for the little bit of algae that is here on the glass. I don't hope it's too unsightly, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about a thing in this video which is very important for all reef tanks and pretty much all tanks, all saltwater tanks in general, not just reef tanks, but especially for reef tanks. So let's talk about it just really quick. And it's Aiptasia Anemones. And as you can see, well, as many of you guys know, I've had lots of these, and I've always had lots of these. And the reason for that is that they basically grow like crazy, and I have tried to get rid of them. Believe me, it's really hard, and they grow like crazy, which really is very annoying. However, what is kind of good about them is that they don't really sting when they're really small. They can only sort of irritate your coral and might make some sensitive corals close up for a little bit, but that's really it. However, a lot of people try to kill them in the wrong ways, and today I want to talk a little bit about the easy ways of killing them without making them spread. Because the usual problem that people have is that they kill their Aiptasia anemones, and what they basically do is just that they just take something and just squeeze them or something else like that. And the problem with that is that if a single cell of an Aiptasia anemone is going to be left somewhere, it's going to settle somewhere and spread, and it's just going to grow again, and you can't get rid of it that way. Also, whenever you squeeze it or try to poke it, it will always go down into its hole, and when it gets stressed, it will release these sort of eggs into the water that is going to be fertilized, which is going to be developed into larvae, which is going to be Aiptasia larvae, and those larvae are just going to spread and be going to be sort of more Aiptasias, and that's a really big problem. You don't want to do that. But there are some few methods that you can use, and the first one are Bergia nudibranches, and as you can see in the picture right here, these guys are pretty cool. This is probably the best option you can get. Seriously, they're actually here in my country, here in Denmark, they're extremely expensive and they're really hard to get. But I know that in the US you can actually buy them from a lot of special stores and stuff like that, and many invertebrate stores actually carry them. So that shouldn't really be a problem in the US or in any other big countries, I imagine. I know that I have researched a little bit about the US and some stores around there, and I found a lot of Bergia nudibranches, but I can't find any on any German websites or any Danish websites, so it's really sad. But so I'm just going to wait until I can get some, but you should get about 1 nudibranch per 10 gallons. That's a pretty good rule. And what's really good about them is that if you get a lot of them, they'll actually multiply. And if you got a lot of Aiptasia in a very big tank, they're going to last pretty long. But you have to remember they only eat Aiptasia, and when they run out of Aiptasia, they basically can't really do anything. They'll just die and they'll starve. So, but whenever all of your Aiptasia are gone, and you're sure that all of your Aiptasia are gone, you haven't seen your nudibranches hunting at night, that is a really important thing that you guys have to notice, that they are nocturnal hunters. But if you realize that they don't hunt any Aiptasia anymore, it's because there's no Aiptasia left basically, and you can just sell them. And if you got multiple ones, you can actually breed them and actually sell them for quite a lot, so that's kind of cool. But they'll get rid of your Aiptasia problem immediately. Another way you can use is Aiptasia eggs, and Aiptasia eggs works pretty well. I use it myself, but it can't really eradicate the problem totally. But it can keep the Aiptasia down, and you can keep the bigger Aiptasias down, and the ones that seem to have like a threat to any corals that is nearby. and it can kill most of them, but they'll just come back at some point, which is really sad. But what it is basically like a paste of like, I think it's pretty similar to what people call kalkwasser, which is basically some calc that is mixed into some water, and it'll basically be this thick paste. And if you spray it on the Aiptasia, you can, by the way, use kalkwasser as well. But if you spray that down into an Aiptasia's mouth, it's going to cover their mouth and they'll try to eat it. But not only will they try to eat it, and they will eat it, but it will also cover their mouth completely, which basically does so that they can't spread any eggs or any sperm into the water, which is pretty important. And they're basically just like explode, which is really nice. It's really fun to see. But that works pretty well, and if you're if you really do a good job of eradicating them, I'm sure that you can do that. But I've never been able to kill them because they're in between my caves and in between all the cracks in my rocks and stuff like that, which really sucks. But those are some few methods that you can use. Boiling water also works, but it might not completely kill the Aiptasia, and it might not completely kill the eggs, so that's kind of sad. But that is a low-tech method that you can use. Anyway, let's just talk a little bit about Aiptasia in general. Aiptasia grows like crazy, and they can pretty much thrive in most conditions. They spread like some crazy algae. It's insane. And they're photosynthetic anemones, and they eat everything. Seriously, they eat everything. If they get big enough, they'll eat your invertebrates and fish too, which is kind of scary. But they pretty much eat anything they can catch, and that's a big problem in my tank because I feed a lot of cyclopes, and cyclopes is just going to be blasted around in my tank, and it's going to be everywhere, and my Aiptasia are going to catch it like really easily, and that is just going to cause problems, because then they're going to get fed. And whenever an Aiptasia is going to get fed, it's just going to grow like crazy, because it'll get so much nutrients from the light and from the food that you have given them. It's insane. Like, just with the lighting, in a week it can grow about an inch. It's insane, and they do that in some tanks, but it also really depends on your water parameters, etc. But they're generally not just a really good thing to have. Like, really, they're really bad to have, and it's so sad whenever you get an Aiptasia outbreak, because it's almost impossible to get rid of. Of course, Bergia nudibranches will kill them immediately. I actually think it's nudibranchs. Nudibranches, I don't know. I think it's nudibranchs. But you guys know what I mean. But the problem with Bergia nudibranches, about what I've heard, is that usually some aggressive nocturnal hunters might actually eat them. Now, my dotty bag is not a nocturnal hunter. He sleeps at night. But some dotty bags are nocturnal hunters, and they actually might eat it, because they're very tiny, and they don't really have a way to defend themselves, because they're so slow, and they really can't do anything whenever they're getting attacked, which really sucks. And a funny thing too is that if the Aiptasia is too big, the Bergia nudibranch will try to climb on top of it and try to eat it, but sometimes it will just land directly into its mouth and get eaten itself, so that's kind of weird. But small Aiptasia, they will get rid of them immediately, so you can get them, but it takes a lot of time for them to get rid of it. But they will get completely rid of the problem. But some aggressive nocturnal hunters, like a lot of wresses, for example, they might actually eat the Bergia nudibranches, which really sucks. But else they are pretty good to have, and I think that Bergia nudibranchs are really cool as well, and I really want some myself, but I really can't get any right now. They're all sold out, so that's kind of sad. But I think there will be coming some new ones pretty soon, so I'll see if I can get some. But remember, Bergia nudibranches only hunt at night and stuff like that, so But Aiptasias are pretty nasty. They grow like crazy, and they grow with nothing. They basically don't need any food. They're photosynthetic, so they'll just grow with anything, which really sucks. And they can tolerate all water parameters, and they're just insane, so that kind of sucks. But I hope this video would help you guys a little bit, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys in another video.